Okay, it says we are live, and I'll take its word for it. What's up? How is everyone doing? Cool. We have an image of the moon, and live off the back of a telescope, sitting just a couple feet from me here. And I'm actually gonna adjust that a little bit. Did sort of a bad job polar aligning this guy today, but it's all right. Not so bad. How you doing, Pavan? Good to see you. Good to see everybody jumping in. Happy Halloween, everybody. It was Halloween Eve here, I guess, right? All Hallows Eve. Um, how's everybody doing? Debbie from the UK, how you doing? Hey, Steve Olson. We're this is kind of a test, but also this is we're just gonna have some fun here. We're gonna explore the moon. I've never broadcast off this telescope or this camera. Not in this configuration anyway. So the last time I broadcast off this camera, it was an all-sky camera at the El Dorado Star Party, and now it's pointed at the moon through a telescope. So it's a pretty versatile camera. But Angel from Denver, good to see you. Happy Halloween. Hope all you ghouls and gals out there having a good evening. I apologize already for the Halloween nonsense. But it is that time of the year, isn't it? So good to see everybody. We're gonna just take a little tour around the moon. We're gonna mess around, checking out little lunar features here and there. We're gonna check out, craters, mountains, all that kind of fun stuff. This is the only zoom that I can do per se. Quote, this is as far in or as far out as I can really go, because this is a whole new platform. It's a whole new way of doing this. So we're just going to go with that and look at the moon, which is cool. This is live. I'm in Southeast Texas. So, just east of Houston, if you will. See a lot of y'all checking in from all over the world, really. We got shout out from Bay Area. That's not all over the world, but y'all get the idea. That's right here in the US. Good to have y'all. Connecticut in the house. Joe says, it's my first clear night in a week. I know that feeling, Joe. I can relate, my man. Good to see you, though, Joe. It's always a pleasure having Joe here with us. Tony's in the house. Colin says, happy Halloween, dude. You too, man. You too. Hey, George Lutch is in the house. What's up? We got some awesome craters right just in this view. There's so many of my maybe top 10 lunar features. And what's cool is we have a full moon tonight, essentially. So, I guess it's going to be full maybe around midnight or something like that. Maybe a little bit later. But it's essentially full. You can kind of see the area of the moon that is not illuminated out there on the upper left. Sort of, you see a little bit more contrast up there to the left. And that just shows you that even when the moon is full, quote unquote, it's not all the way illuminated. Sometimes it's like 99.8% illuminated, and then it never gets to 100%. And that's just the way it is. Rita, how you doing? Yeah, the moon is sometimes a full moon is better seen without a telescope, in my opinion. I think, yeah, it's a naked eye object for sure. I'll just center this back up here. So my mount's, doing a good job of tracking. It's just it would be doing a better job if I had set it up better. I didn't have time to do a polar alignment, but y'all know how that goes. Cosmos Imager, hello. How are you? Hope y'all are having a good, Friday night? Yeah. Happy Halloween, guys, says the Cosmos Imager. I agree. I wish we could exchange candy somehow through the internet, because we can exchange, lunar views, but we can't exchange candy, which I think is kind of sad. So, I mean, if y'all don't mind trying to push a Reese's Pieces through your webcam or something, I don't know. We'll see if it works. Just joking, of course. Wendy, Houston. How you doing, Wendy? Good to have you. Joe, I don't know. Probably not. I'm probably just going to focus on the moon tonight because this is a whole new system, and I don't know what that would entail. Maybe on a different night. Now, tomorrow night, it is Friday night. I'm supposed to get 2 clear nights here, so I may do some testing after the live tonight and see about tomorrow. Maybe. I don't know. I really would like to do that though. But for now, since the moon is, kind of the feature, we'll do that. Yeah, it is kind of a spooky moon, especially around these corners, or not corners, but the edge here, sort of toward the limb. Right here. I love this area. You can see that this crater right here in the middle sort of is, it's just a really nice angle. And that crater is called Pythagoras. The one, I'll just show you guys because I think I can. Y'all can see my cursor, I think. And this crater right here is Pythagoras. And I can go in here and figure out what, how big that is. Let's see, 145 kilometers. Well, I don't know what a kilometer translates to a mile. Do y'all? No, I don't. Probably not. So I just asked Siri. So I say 145 kilometers in miles. 90.1 miles. So this crater right here, 90 miles across. And it's what we call a complex crater because you see right there in the center, we have this mountain. And that just happens when the craters are that big. They form these complex craters. And that's essentially, it's a rebound structure of material that kind of, when the impact happens, just like a drop of water in a bucket, you get that sort of effect of the moon rebounding out into the cosmos. It's incredible. Complex crater, if you're into that. I won't go too deep into this stuff. I'll just scratch the surface. If you want to go deeper with it as a amateur astronomer, I applaud that. Abilene, Texas. What's up? Cosmos Imager says moon emoji. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm gonna get to some of y'all's comments real quick here. Lyra Parrish says, "Yay!" What's up, Lyra Parrish? This guy says, "I don't know what that emoji is." So, what's up, Nikhil? Tammy Paris, I know you. Thank you for sharing the live stream. Thank you for joining us. Happy Halloween from all the way on the other side of town. That's not even true. Kurt, what's up? How you doing, man? San Antonio. Good to see a lot of Texas in the house tonight, huh? Joe says, I believe it will be officially full around 9:49 tomorrow morning. That sounds about right, Joe. Yeah. I think we're about 97% full or something like that. Somewhere in that area. Cosmos Imager brings up a great point. The moon is always spectacular to observe. There's no time where, someone says, hey, do you want to look at the moon through my telescope? That I'll be like, nah. Unless I've just done it for like 12 hours straight and I'm trying to nap. Maybe then I'd be like, nah. Andy from Michigan, what's up, dude? How you doing? Blue moon, yeah. So this is a blue moon. That's a great point, Cosmos Imager. All that means is 2 full moons in 1 month, y'all. There's nothing colorful about it, unfortunately, besides the name. Blue moon just means 2 full thingies, 2 full moons in 1 month. That's the end of that story. Isn't that crazy how they call it this stuff, the blood moon? Oh, it's a blood moon. Oh, it's a lunar eclipse. Next. Tim says, big, bright, beautiful moon here just west of St. Louis, Missouri. Good to see you, Tim. Thanks for joining us, and happy Halloween. So begins the never-ending holidays, as it, they just keep coming. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Thank you, Greta. How big is that black? Well, that's a good question, because there's a lot of this dark area is called a Maria, which means sea in Latin. And I think I can figure out which one this is. This big gray area right here is Mare Imbrium. And it's got some really cool. Mare Imbrium is this massive sea of material that was, laid down, probably more than 1 billion years ago or so. This whole gray area. And what's cool is it has a bunch of cool lunar features sort of around it. You've got Montes Jura right here, which is a really awesome feature when the moon is not full. You see here, you just see kind of a washed out area, but in reality there's mountains all along this ridge. They're huge mountains too, a couple of, probably I think a couple thousand feet tall, which for the moon is pretty tall. But you've got these craters all along here, or on the side of the mountains. And this is an old impact basin, Montes Jura is. And it's big. This is a big area. And I think that area is called, Sinus Iridium, which is this inner area here. And I think sinus means bay in lunar speak. I don't know. Some of this, the names of some of this stuff, you guys probably could educate me on some of this, but man, I just try to, if there's something I enjoy, I'll go look at it and be like, oh, cool. What is that called? Okay, cool. I'm going to forget that in 10 seconds, But then the idea is to just keep hearing those names. Montes Jura, Plato Crater, Copernicus, Sea of Tranquility, the Sea of whatever. Chet says, yeah, amazing, 90 miles. Yeah, there's some craters on the moon that will truly astound you with their size. What's up, James? How you doing? James says, hey there. Finally got clear skies here in New York, imaging Sol Nebula outside and watching live moon stream inside. Awesome. See, this is the coolest thing about the internet. James is over there in New York doing some deep sky imaging on a beautiful nebula. That's just always in the sky, no matter if the clouds are out or whatever. It's always there. And tonight, James is lucky enough to be treated to a clear sky, and he's taken some photons away from the universe, and he's putting them into a computer. Good luck, James. I hope you get some good stuff. Sol Nebula is a beautiful thing to see, especially in night vision. It's actually really cool in night vision. You can make the moon blue if you change your camera's white balance. That's exactly true, Joe. I could probably make this thing blue, but I don't want to, because that would be too cliche, I think. Heather says the moon right now looks like a sticker that has been stuck up there. Gorgeous. Yeah, that's funny that you say that, Heather, because I get that a lot from kids at outreach events, and they're like, that's not real, that's a sticker. When I show them Saturn, especially Saturn. Like, that's a sticker. Like, no. You know how hard it would be to make a sticker look like that in here? Like, come on. And then I wave my hand in front of I'm like, look in there. You wave your hand in front of the telescope, and they're like, oh wow, the image got blurry, and it kind of all, you see their brain explode, basically. Tony Bendel, the man, the myth, the alien. He put 2 aliens down, so we're gonna put both of those down there. Happy Halloween, Tony. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Steve says my Latin sucks. Yeah, mine is non-existent. It's horrible. My extent of Latin is the little that I can quote of the movie Tombstone, which is none. I can't even quote that scene. James says, what capture program is that? This is fire capture. I believe, yes, it is fire capture. I also have Sharp Cap on this computer. I don't, I've never used it, so I'm not exactly sure how to use it. But man, look at Copernicus there. Oh, there went a UFO. Did y'all see it? That was a UFO because we can't identify it. So now we're going to make the immediate logical jump that it was aliens. We're going to go straight from we saw a blurry, fuzzy blob to that was aliens. Or maybe it was Sasquatch. Who knows? It's getting spooky out here. Of course, I'm joking. Please don't quote me as, oh, the Deep Sky Dude said that there was a UFO and aliens. No, please don't. What's up, Alex? How you doing? I am way behind on comments here. My screen is lagging a little bit too, so this computer might be on its last leg. That might be part of the upgrade of the whole situation here that I'm gonna have to do. Rayleigh says, fit a state in one of those craters. You probably could, especially if you put Rhode Island. Rhode Island, you could probably fit in one of those little tiny, bright white ones down there. Fit most of New Jersey in there too. Put them all on the moon. Cooper Mora says, wait, today's Halloween? Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close. It's 11:54 right now. Yep. So you're on Halloween Eve. All Hallows Eve. Great views of Mare Imbrium region on the moon. Yeah, thanks, Cosmos. Yeah, this camera does a pretty good job. It's the ZWO ASI 224. I think I got the last one in the continental United States right before the Star Party, the El Dorado Star Party. It was like, I called them and they were like, yeah, we have it. And I'm like, send it, please. Yeah, Mare Imbrium is beautiful. We're looking at this big crater right here is Copernicus, and I've just been yapping away about nothingness. But that big one is Copernicus, and we'll actually go over there and take a look at that. Right meow. I can control the telescope by hitting buttons. I usually hit the wrong buttons first, and then you correct the button hittage over time until you have your crater. It's not rocket science, y'all. It's a backyard telescope. You know what I mean? Tim says 4 years of Latin high school wasted on me. Didn't become a priest or a botanist. Hey, well, there's like every other science uses Latin too, right? I mean, there's all kinds of if you're definitely a biologist of any kind, you'd be using Latin. Bob Snyder says, greetings from Austin, where I am also imaging. What are you imaging, Bob? You can't just say, I'm taking pictures and not be like, of what? Bob Snyder's a good friend of mine from some star parties and some astronomy events. We see each other out in the desert randomly, you know. Hey, Bob, what's up? Steve Olson says, a ghost. Is that what it was? Tony Bendel says, heard Deep Sky Dude say it on Facebook. So it's definitely two heads to my news. I probably should have read that one first, and then I had better delivery, Tony. I'm sorry. But breaking news, Independent News Network. Tony Bendel reporting, Deep Sky Dude saw a UFO. More at 9. Y'all give Tony Bendel a follow too. Although most of y'all are probably already following Tony anyway. So this is the ZWO ASI 224. I know I just gave you like, it sounded like a zip code, like an address. I know, but it's, if you just take ZWO ASI 224 and you put that into a Google search, you will see what camera it is. Like I said, it sounds like an address to a very, shady location where there might be a haunted house or something else. So Joe says the previous Halloween full moon was 2001, and the next will be 2039, y'all. So wow, we're actually sharing something pretty special here, aren't we? Thank you, Joe, for that. Appreciate that. I know Joe is usually very reputable on his information, so I can, of course, I always say be skeptical of everything you hear, but I think Joe knows what he's talking about here. I think we can rely on that information for sure. The telescope Cosmos is a 6-inch Ritchie Chrétien or Chrétien, Ritchie Croissant. I don't know exactly how you say it. I'm gonna start saying Ritchie Croissant because that's funny. But it is a Ritchie Chrétien, an RC, 6-inch. We're gonna upgrade that, I think, as time goes on. I'm just kind of letting the moon drift too. It's kind of neat. Chet says, I've been to Meteor Crater in Arizona. That's 1 mile wide. A 90-mile wide crater is just astounding. That's cool, Chet. I'm jealous. I have not been able to make it over there. That's a must do for me very soon. James Bestill says, we all hit the wrong buttons first. That's right. Yeah, it's kind of an astronomer thing. 711 miles from rim to rim. Yeah, are you talking about the Mare Imbrium? Yeah, that's right. Mare Imbrium is huge. Huge. Tim says most people have 0 Latin, and if you have any, you're ahead of the curve. That's right. I'm so far behind on these comments, y'all. I apologize. I'm trying to keep up. There should be a comment intern out here with me at all times where I can be like, intern, what are they saying? Are they saying cool views? No, there's a lot of comments though. It's good to have all y'all here on a Halloween night on the first full moon on Halloween since 2001, as Joe said, and the last one until 2039. Ooh, Bob's shooting the Pac-Man Nebula, NGC 281. Very cool, man. So Cooper is officially in Halloween. Congratulations, Cooper. You beat us to the holiday. I hope you're getting some candy or something. Maybe. Hey, Rudiger. What's up, Rambles Marbles? How you doing, man? Happy Halloween. These comments are glitching out on me, guys, so it's scrolling around on me. I'm gonna get to all y'all's comments here. I promise. And let me go ahead and put us on another part of the moon here. You gotta hit the wrong buttons first, guys. Look at how big the moon is. I'm just gonna go over here toward this sort of general area to some of my favorite craters. You'll find that I say that a lot, though. Really, my favorite crater means it has such little meaning to anyone ever, you know. Tony says Facebook hates me tonight. You know, Tony, I was in Facebook jail not long ago. I know you can guess why, Tony. I know you can guess exactly why. And so I know what you're saying, brother. I know what you're saying. Alex says my first purchase was the ZWO ASI 120mm. Mine was exactly the same camera, Alex. I bought that one a little while ago, and I've enjoyed it a few times. Not too much. This is the color version, the grayed up and a color version. So that 120 is a great camera. Joe says Ritchie Croissant. Yeah, I think we're all gonna change that to Ritchie Croissant. This is a 22-inch Ritchie Croissant. You know, Hubble. The Hubble Space Telescope was a Ritchie Croissant. Rayleigh says, I'll be your intern. Okay, cool. We just got to work that out. I mean, you know, there's all kinds of work to be done out in the field. So you'll definitely need an assistant too, Rayleigh. It's gonna be a team effort. We're gonna have all kinds of fun. Tony's got to be there too to help us do some heavy lifting. Tony, sorry, these telescopes are heavy, so you have to help us with that. Happy Halloween, Dean. Hey, Germany, what's up, Benny? Good to see you. Jack Flood says, shout out from Frisco, Texas, a new follower, an aspiring amateur astronomer. Well, thank you, Jack. Y'all be sure to follow. I know some of y'all might be watching on Stardom, but be sure to follow my friend Ron Sparkman on his platform, Stardom Space, which is one of the avenues where we're broadcasting out tonight. So you may be watching on Deep Sky Dude, or you may be watching on Stardom, but if you're watching over at Stardom, welcome. I hope y'all are having a good Halloween, a good weekend. It's Friday night, you know, it's Halloween. There's a chill in the air, at least for those of us down here in Texas. So there's nothing too bad about this weekend. Bob, that's a great point, Bob. If you don't hit the wrong one, how do you know you've hit the right one? That's a philosophical question, I think. I think that could work for a lot of different things. James says, can you view... I see, why does the comment go away? There we go. Can you view Saturn's moon enchilada with your Richie croissant? See, exactly. And now I'm hungry. So thanks, James. When you talk about enchiladas, the moon of Saturn, I get... you know. Rayleigh is not a team player, Tony says. Well, you know, this is what happens, Tony. I usually have like helpers and interns, and then, you know, you're like, where's the intern? They're like asleep in a chair over there. You know, that happens. Happy Halloween, Gen B. And happy Blue Moon. Uh-oh. Lover's Quarrel here, everyone. Rayleigh says, excuse me. They're probably going to fight later. With words. I'm using my mobile to capture the moon with a nice blue moon filter. There you go. That's creative, Cosmos. I like that. I like that. Oh, I think I know what it's my trackpad here on this old computer. Y'all, this computer is from 2013, but it's at least running the running the moon image here. It's ridiculous. I bought this computer when I first started astro imaging back in 2013. And I never really, I mean, I used it, but I never really abused it like I should have. Like, left the thing out in the field during a rainstorm or anything. So I mean, it still works, but it's old. Yeah, interns are good. You know, and you know, what's cool is interns, they're trading for knowledge, right? That's the general point of it. Bring your lawn tools. We have all the lawn tools, Bob. You know. Usually the fields don't require much weed eating before you get out there. Yep, and Uranus is at opposition, which means it's at opposite of the sun from the Earth perspective, which means that we can see it closest we're going to see it this particular year. Tony says, ha, sleep hits the nail on the head for her. She'll fit right in. Dude, you know what's funny is at the last star party, I fell asleep in my chair because it was just clear skies the whole time. We never got a break. We never got to, you know, like have a nap night or, you know, whatever. It just never happened. It just kept going. And so by the end of the week, we were all kind of just wrecked mentally, physically. My feet were like, I felt like I worked retail again, you know, because we were just on our feet 24/7 out in the field at night. It's clear from dusk till dawn, basically every night. And me and the people that I run with, we soak up every hour we can out there. So it was incredible, but it was also very very tiring. But I'm not complaining. Don't misinterpret me. I'm not complaining. But look at this beautiful image of the moon tonight, man. What super clear night, super chill temperature. I think probably in the mid 60s. I don't know. Tony, who do you have as a weatherman for independent news? I'll be your dedicated astronomy and scientist. What do they call that? Advisor. It's independent action news, I think, right? Isn't that what it is, Tony? Pretty sure that's what it is. I follow it. I see the stories. I like the stories, especially lately. It's been entertaining to say the least. Some of these comments are very entertaining as well, guys. Thank y'all for hanging out with us on a random Friday night. That is also a night just before Halloween, which it's 11:11 p.m. on October 30th, 2020. So it is almost Halloween here in Central Standard Time. Or is it daylight time now? No, it's not daylight until 2. I don't know. I vote we do away with that. Yeah, I agree, Alex. There's very little mosquitoes tonight, although they were here, but they're gone now. They're like passed out from being drunk on my blood. They're just laying in the yard like, that buffet was good, wasn't it, fellas? And I'm like, ugh, I feel sick. I've been drained of my life force. I can show Tycho Crater, Cosmos. Yeah, I do take requests here at Deep Sky Dude, unless it's Freebird, and then at that point I do not take requests. That was probably a bird pretty close. So there's the magnificent Tycho Crater. That's how it should be pronounced. Isn't that ridiculous? Doesn't Tycho just sound just so silly? But apparently that is what it is. Tycho. Look at that though, y'all. This is one of the craters that naked eye or binocular, when you look at this thing, you're going to just be like, that's the thing that your eye gets drawn to because it's so pronounced. There's these massive lunar rays coming off of them. And y'all know, if y'all know what lunar rays are, those are those white lines coming out and away from the impact crater. And that's the material that was inside the crater. But now, because of the impact, it can no longer just hang out in the crater. It had to be blown out into space, basically. And the rays are what fell back. A lot of what happened when Tycho was created, a lot of that material was blown off into space. So that, you'll never see that material again. Some of that material may have hit Earth himself. LOL. I have a feeling they're going to start slinging stuff at each other here. They're going to use me as a platform to yell at each other. Chet says, thank you for what you do here. I learned so much and I appreciate you. Well, thank you, Chet. That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. Like, hey, I do this stuff for fun. Astronomy is something I've always done since I was a little kid. So the fact that I can, share with y'all some information I learned along the way, that's amazing. So I appreciate that, Chet. You the man. James says, my Pegasus Pocket Power Box is reading 32.7 degrees Fahrenheit. Yipes. And I'm out here, like I was telling my wife, I'm like, I'm going to be all out in the cold alone. It's going to be so cold. I wish I had a space heater. I'm going to be out in a little tent out in the backyard. Oh. And he's all over there in 32-degree weather. And see, imaging a nebula like he is so unsatisfying at the time, because all you're getting back is data with maybe a few stars, and you might be picking up some nebulosity, but you're in the right fields, you're shooting the right thing, and you take all this data all night long, and then you wake up the next day and you got to go check your data, because that's like half the work, is being out in the cold, dark, getting the data. Now you got to go back, check the data, make sure it's good, use, process the data, and then you have your nebula image. I think people think that we just go out and take these images and then boom, it looks good. That's not true. It takes a lot of work. So all astro imagers have my respect. I'm more of a visual guy, but I dabble in cameras. What can I say? I like to share astronomy, and I can do it any way that I can. Thank you, M Deluxe. Appreciate you. Jodine says, every public star party I've ever been to, eventually someone asks to see the flag planted by Apollo 11. Oh, my man Joe, you wouldn't even, man, so many people on Instagram ask me that I've kind of had to start ignoring it. He goes on to say, they don't say Apollo 11, of course. They just say the astronaut dudes that left a flag. Exactly. Can you see the flag from here? No. No. Is my answer. I have to type that out. You have to get that emotion into your text. It's really hard these days. That's what emojis are good for. Someone bring me the water from Clavius. You know what, Tony? It probably is the consistency and vibe and texture of Yoo-hoo. 100%. That's my prediction. That's the Deep Sky Dude prediction of the water from Clavius. It's gonna look like Yoo-hoo. Probably taste exactly like it too. This garbage chocolate water that no one should ever drink. This is a perfect night for ghosts. Whatever kind of ghosts y'all are looking for, we got them here on at Stardom Space and Deep Sky Dude. Tim says Central Standard Time is 6 hours behind Coordinated Universal, UTC, or what we in aviation call Zulu. During summer, most of the zones use Daylight Savings Time, DST. Changes to Central Daylight Time, which is 5 hours behind UTC. That's right, yeah. And converting all that in aviation, like for the test and stuff, they make you do these things. It's so annoying, and it's so just for, of course we need different time zones, but we don't need daylight savings time anymore, I don't think. But that's just me. And who am I? I'm just a guy with a telescope. Tim says, is the moon still being impacted? And has anyone ever imaged these impacts? Well, Tim, yes. It is indeed. I have evidence that the moon is being impacted. In fact, in 2019, in January 2019, during the total lunar eclipse, I was filming the moon, a lot like I'm doing right now, and something the size of a soccer ball or so hit the moon, and I caught it. Joe says, I get to Joe's comment, that was a bird. Did y'all see that? That was nuts, right? That was crazy. I think that came down toward the camera or something. That was pretty wicked. Yeah, so Joe says there was an impact, yeah, and I caught it. And that video, Tim, is on my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and type 4K Lunar Impact and look for the video by Deep Sky Dude, and that's my video there for you to enjoy. Sharon Rigsby, one of my good friends here from Southeast Texas, says it's so bright we have moon shadows tonight. Don't you love moon shadows, Sharon? And what I really love is I hate going to the beach, but I love moon shadows at the beach. Like when you can see the crest of the water breaking out there when the moon is full, like that. There's something special about that. She goes on to say, if we were on the moon looking at Earth, we would see moonshine. That is exactly true. You'd be able to, and probably, Sharon, do you think maybe you'd be able to make out some light pollution too? I wonder, huh? It may be possible. Let me resituate the telescope here. Alex says, I wish more kids nowadays would lay off the tablets and phones for a minute and enjoy this once in a while. I agree, Alex. Yeah, I agree. Although, it's just a different time. I think, and I agree with you, but I think we sound like the old people yelling for kids to get off our lawns when we start saying stuff like that. But I agree with you. Yeah, it has merit. They should. I think everyone should get out and enjoy nature over the tablets and as I say that as I stare into a computer screen outside, which is like the ultimate in irony, I think. The very definition is what I just laid out. So ignore everything that I'm saying. But this is Crater Tico. James says, my equipment is in 32-degree weather. I'm inside. See, now that's how you do it. Everything's remote these days. Might as well drop the cash and do it from inside, right? I don't have any suggestions, Maplin guitar or maple neck guitar. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Just took me a second. I apologize. What maple neck? What I suggest is you join a local astronomy club. That's my suggestion. Because you could go spend $10,000 on a setup, and it would be the worst setup you ever bought, even though it was the highest quality gear, because you don't know how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, it is completely useless to you, right? What's up, Steven? Party at the Moon Tower, sir. On a Halloween night, even, Steven. Can you believe that? We're hanging out on a Halloween night. That's why I prefer doing planets, Joseph. Yeah, exactly. A little bit more, I don't know if I can put that one up, Tony. Well, there it is. I don't know what that is. That the number one emoji? He's saying y'all are number one. I have seen a UFO passing by right now when I was observing the moon. I think it was a bird, Cosmos. I think it was a bird. But until we prove it was a UFO, we can't really say it wasn't, right? Blood Moon Lunar Eclipse on 26 May 2021. Okay, cool. I didn't know that. I'll have to look into that. But Cosmos, instead of saying Blood Moon, you could just say Lunar Eclipse. That's like saying Lunar Eclipse, because Blood Moon just means Lunar Eclipse. Spencer, like our astronomy club. Yeah. What's up, Spencer? Good to see you, man. Sorry we didn't get to hang out at El Dorado. Sorry I missed your call, man. Again, we had been up all night, every night that week, and so when you called, I was out like a light. Saw the call later and heard about what happened, man. I apologize. Hope you're feeling better, though. Hey, it's Ray's Astrophotography. What's up, Ray? This guy's more famous than me, so the fact that he's here is pretty cool. Good to see you, Ray. He's way better astrophotography than me, too. And again, I preface all this by saying I'm not an astrophotographer, really, guys. This is just me, putting a camera in a scope and going, woohoo, let's do it. The train noise is free, y'all. Y'all don't have to pay for that. It's all free. People saying, hey, everybody hanging out, watching a full moon on Halloween. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Especially Spencer. Spencer broke his hand at a star party. That's the most OG thing you could do at a star party is break a bone. That's like, you're initiated at that point. Hope you're healing well, Spencer. Tony says, I'm going to order a pallet of Yoo-Hoo and ship you one every single day for a year. And see, Tony, this is why you don't have my address. Although I regret saying that because you have connections and you could probably get it. So I'm screwed either way. I'm going to get Yoo-Hoo. I'm going to donate it to the local food bank, I think is what I'm going to do, Tony. And I'm going to tell them that there's plenty more where that came from. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, we're just looking at Tycho down here, and Cosmos brings up an interesting point. You can see down here along the edge of the moon, we call this the limb, the Limb, the limb, which is just a dumb word, limb. But you can see what, Cosmos Imager kind of brought up. You see how it dips down in here? It's not a perfect circle. It dips down right here too, doesn't it? Looks like there's chunks missing, right? Well, what you're seeing is a crater like this, but you're seeing it like you're viewing it directly edge on. So that's how you can see a chunk of the moon missing here. There's actually a crater right there on the edge, perfectly placed, so that we see this bump of moon removed. And again, that's just because a long time ago, something came in in this exact direction. It hit the moon, it blew up, blew material out, and that little area became a crater. And if you were viewing it from the other side of the moon, it would look just like Tycho up here, or Tycho. Can I go back to saying the other way now, Tycho? But there's all kinds of areas like that around the moon. Let me I'll get to y'all's comments in a second. I'm gonna try to focus on showing y'all some of my fun favorite stuff. There's all kinds of craters. Look at the ray cratering out here. Look at these craters where there's just like this one ray, and then there's these other side rays that kind of come out. And you can see that that's a trend around this particular area. You can see these craters here, these big ones, that are just basically the rim. And then you can see them all out in here where it's just the rim peeking out above the volcanic material that moved in. We call these ghost craters, which is perfect for Halloween. Look at all these ghosts. And all a ghost crater means is that that crater was laid down billions of years ago. Billions of years ago. We're talking maybe 2 to 3, maybe even a little bit more. And let me get rid of this here. Sorry, guys. Again, I need an intern for all the buttons. I'm doing this all on my own here in this. I'm basically in this fishing tent. It's hilarious. Started using a fishing tent as a little warm room, and it's been really nice. I apologize. I'm trying to speak over the V8s and the V10s and whatever the V's that are out there. There's all kinds of V's going around. You hear them. Everybody's like, it's Friday. Let's go. Coal roll. Woo! Country. Welcome to Texas, y'all. Jodine says, Astronomy Club is the way to go. I've looked through equipment far outside my price range and was satisfied by seeing a faraway deep sky object that really looks like a fuzzy smudge in real time. LOL. Exactly. A friend of mine had a scope that I could never have afforded. A 17.5-inch Coulter Dobsonian. That scope could pull in galaxies fainter than anything I'd ever seen before. And he had access to that scope, and so I always set up near him and light leached, essentially. I'd go steal photons off his telescope. He'd be like, hey, I'm looking at NGC 4721. I'd be like, yep, I want to look, and then I would log objects on his telescope too. Spencer says, yeah, I assume so. Got a brace and stitches now. All good. Good to hear, Spencer. Rayleigh says, train is free. Here I was paying for it. See? Well, that was what the coupon was for, Rayleigh. So, and look, you should have got an email about the coupon. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you didn't get the coupon for the free train. We'll work on that. Yeah, he broke his arm, yeah. Terry Rhodes, good to see you, man. Happy Halloween, Terry. Cosmos Imager says, I'm using a blue filter to take photos. Nice. Yeah, this is a color cam, so I'm just being lazy. I don't have to do any color or any blue, reds, and greens and all that. Nah, we're lazy over here at Deep Sky Dudery. Sea of Tranquility, y'all. Look at that. Right there in the middle of the screen. Everybody knows the Sea of Tranquility, right? I mean, it's just the most famous sea in the world. Or that's hilarious. Somebody make a meme out of that. The Sea of Tranquility is the most famous sea in the world. I said it. You heard it here first, folks. Ray said, did the fire trucks and ambulance come to the dark side to rescue the guy who broke his bone? No, Ray. Actually, I don't know what Spencer... We should get Spencer to tell his story, but apparently he broke it early that morning, I guess, and had to drive himself to the hospital. And, you know, when you're out at these star parties, those hospitals can be quite a long ways away. So, again, that's some hardcore stuff, man. Sometimes it's war out there doing astronomy. The gravity is our worst enemy sometimes. Previous blue moon on 2018 was spectacular total lunar eclipse. Oh, was it? Okay, interesting. Aristarchus crater. So, I have to go look. I think I remember. Is that next to Copernicus? No, that's Kepler. Where is Aristarchus? Let me just go search it. Okay. I see where it is, bro. I see where it is. Off we go to Aristarchus crater. Maybe. I know why you picked this, Tony. Because there's aliens over here, right? There's UFOs. I learned recently some people call them ovnis. I don't even know what that means. I guess it's like a foreign word, like non-English word for UFO. I don't know. OVNI? I don't know. But that's Aristarchus right there in the center. It's a beautiful crater. It's a very weird region of the moon. Let me see if I can clean this up, actually. I can do some tweaking on the gain. There we go. We maybe, are we getting clouds or something? Why would I have to? Oh, you know what? Probably because I was at Tycho, and it's like over here. You see how it's blown out? Just have to adjust the gain a little bit, adjust the exposure. And it's hard to get the dynamic range out because you can see inside Copernicus here, but you can't really see inside Aristarchus. But that's it. I don't know why the histogram just came up, but the histogram just came up. So there you go, man. The moon does have acne. Yes, it does. I think. We're not sure. Maybe that's what that is. James says, they say you should never look through an amateur telescope you can't afford. Yeah. I don't know about that one. Riley, FFS, don't make her mad. Oh, okay. Well, look, I got a lot going on here, Tony. But I know now, okay? Riley. Everybody say it with me now. Tim says, you seem to have a significant amount of rail traffic. Live near a rail yard? Yeah. Well, I only have like the biggest amount of refineries ever around me. It's just everywhere. Lunar, Texas, we have a request for. Okay, we'll go there next, Steve. The Lunar, Texas. Riley says, God, even my own name doesn't know. It's Riley. Sorry, Riley. See what I did there? See, I'm going to ruin Tony's night on accident. Not even, why is the moon so dark? Well, it's dark in those areas, Cosmos, because of the volcanic material that sort of seeped up from the core of the moon billions of years ago, as the moon was sort of shrinking and cooling. Before any of these craters that you see here were created, that volcanic material moved in, and you can see some ghost craters at the bottom of the image moving in down here. And these are old craters. I mean, these are old, y'all. These big white craters with these lunar rays coming out of them up here, you know, these are, whoops, these are newer craters. They're old, but they're, you know, probably 250 million to about 1 billion years old. These right here. Maybe not even 1 billion years, because after a lot of time, the UV rays from the sun darkens all this material. So UV has a darkening effect in space against the moon. So that's caused all this material here to get darker as time has gone on. But then when you have these newer impact craters that happen, this exposes new material, and that's what lunar rays are. That's why they're white against that darker background, because this material that's been blown out of these craters onto the darker material around. Now, as time goes on, these rays will disappear. And there are different, if you look around the moon, you'll see different craters in different stages of their evolution, like from early crater stage to old crater. And there will never be any ghost craters really anymore. The volcanic activity on the moon has ceased. There is no more. There may be some molten or semi-molten stuff in the core of the moon, but there is no more, you know, volcanoes spewing hot magma onto the surface. It's just not happening, and it won't happen ever again. Joe Richard says, when astronaut Charles Darwin set foot on the Sea of Tranquility, his first words were, "The Beagle has landed." I knew that was a joke because it's just, that's funny. I think Paul thought it was funny too. We're getting tricks and treats here on a live stream of the moon. It's always good. It's always a good time. Yeah, solar corona and lunar acne. Yeah, that's the technical terms, you know. You gotta know Latin for some of this stuff. Robbie says, "Hey, Deep Sky Dude, Robbie here. I saw this just before I was going to bed. Staying up a little bit to watch now. Happy Halloween, everyone. Happy Halloween, Robbies. Good to see you. Good to hang out with y'all. Thank y'all for sharing, of course, as always. Sharing the feed, as y'all always do. Y'all are amazing. Y'all brought me so many followers doing these live streams. And I just enjoy doing them. They're fun, you know, just hanging out, talking about the moon, talking about features and whatnot. And it's a good time. James says, that was a joke. Of course, we should always look through other people's awesome scopes. Yeah, I agree, James. I knew you were joking. I just can't publicly, because people soundbite stuff. You know how it is. Mostly Tony soundbiting stuff. He's like making me sound, editing my my stuff to make me sound like I like Yoo-hoo and all this. It's ridiculous. See, now I don't remember how to say it. Is it Riley? Yeah, I think it's Riley. Says, how many craters can you name? Oh man, too many. I could name like a ton, but the disconnect sometimes is, sometimes I forget where they are. Like, I knew Aristarchus was a crater. I just forgot where on the moon it was. But there are craters, Riley, like Plato, like Copernicus, Gassendi, Messier A and B. Rupus recta is not a crater, but it's a feature. Probox X. You know, there's there's so many that I could just sit here and name off the top of my head. Beaumont, Sabine, Ritter, Moltke. I'm not gonna keep doing this, but if I had to guess, it'd be like 50, maybe 30. Welcome, Abu. Thank you for joining. Nora is here with us as well. Hello, Will. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween, Nora. Good to see you. Suddenly I turned into an Irishman. I don't know why. Tony, see, there was a UFO. Did y'all see it? It went wrong. Just kidding. It's not a UFO. It was a witch on a broom. I could easily make it out. Tony says, fun fact of the night, the Sahara Desert has 100 times the amount of water than what Sophia has detected in the soil of the moon so far. And what's amazing about that, Tony, is how sensitive that instrument on Sophia is. Such an amazing, that Sophia telescope is like the coolest thing. I've been on board. I've been in the cockpit of that thing, man. It was cool. I asked them if I could fly it, but they said no. I told them I could take it off, but landing might be an issue. Good to see you, Chris. How you doing, man? Yeah, we got like a virtual star party going on, Cosmos. Me, you, and Bob Snyder's doing some imaging. Yeah, I know. I remember you, Chris. Got a real name. Got a real account now. That's good. That's good. James says, I'm not important enough for people to soundbite me. Well, now you are, because Tony is in the house and he's paying attention. So you are now on the radar, sir. And hopefully he'll soundbite you instead of me, which would be hilarious. Look at those lunar rays, y'all. Let's just stay right here for a second, back at Aristarchus and Copernicus. Copernicus is the big crater, bottom right, with all the big white rays coming out of it, the lunar rays. Love that stuff, man. I love lunar rays. And look, I talk bad about observing the moon during a full moon, like it's boring and all this stuff, but it's a good time for lunar rays. It's a good time for spotting new, fresh craters that are over a few kilometers wide. Every crater you're seeing here is tens of kilometers wide. Either 60 or more kilometers, or 5 or 10 kilometers. I can't do any zooming, Apu. This is the view you get. Although, if you're willing to donate about $6,000, which is what I've calculated it would take to be able to go back and forth, because you got to get another scope and you got to get another camera and you got to get a better mount to hold all that on there. So, but hey, I do take donations. I am tax deductible. If you're, I'm just kidding. I'm not tax deductible. Don't send me money and be like, well, he said I could take this off my taxes. No, but I will promise that I will use your money for nothing but Yoo-hoo. Ever. Nora says, what planet is close to the moon tonight? I believe it's Mars, Nora. Up and to the right, but then you also have Neptune out there somewhere, but good luck with Neptune naked eye. It's not one you can really see naked eye. Jodian says, why don't people mention the mini moon? Only the supermoon gets the news. That's right. That's a good point, Joe. Supermoon is a dumb term. But he goes on to say, the full moon is currently almost full at I'm sorry, let me start over. This full moon is currently almost at full apogee. Okay, so apogee means that the moon is further away in its orbit than normal, or than a supermoon. Yes, a supermoon is a full moon at perigee. So you have 2 points in the lunar orbit where it's the furthest away from Earth, apogee, and the closest to Earth, perigee. Let's find out tonight what the moon is in. So I can just go to, I'm using Sky Safari Pro here off camera where y'all can't see. So object info, okay, and the moon is currently 400 kilometers away. So 400 kilometers in miles. That's 248.55 thousand miles. And I know that at its furthest, the moon is about 250, no more than 250 kilometers or miles away. Sorry. And if it is 248,000 miles tonight, then yes, tonight we are absolutely close to an apogee full moon. So this is the mini moon. Yes, Joe, you're exactly right. Because the moon could be at 200 and what is it? 220,000 miles? Or is it even 200,000 miles? It moves a lot. It's like 30,000 miles it comes in and out in its orbit. Because it's not just orbiting like a seesaw. It's orbiting like in and out, towards us and away from us, towards us and away from us. It's kind of, when you look at it, it's sped up. It's kind of dizzying and kind of disorienting. But yeah, that's exactly right. Got a pic of the moon tonight and last night. And I got a planet close to the moon. There you go. That was probably Mars, Nora. For sure. Send us to Langrenus, Captain. Okay, let's see. I know kind of where that is. But at the same time, like I was telling Riley, sometimes I just forget where they're at. Aha. This is on the east side by Mare Crisium. So let's go over there, shall we? Here we go. We're going to find the button in the dark here. I hit the right button this time, which is hilarious. Langrenus. I think it's that big one right there. Let me confirm it with the look-see. Yep. Good choice, Tony. Great choice. So Langrenus is this big one right here, y'all. Look at this. This whole area right here is Langrenus. That's going to be a big crater, too. Let's consult the Book of Elements. 132 kilometers, which is 132 kilometers in miles. She's going to have trouble with that, I bet you. 132 kilometers in miles. 82 miles. That crater right there. 82 miles from ridge to ridge. Or rim to rim, sorry. That's a long drive. Even at 80 miles an hour, it's taking you probably over an hour to get across the thing. Nuts. What's up, Jason? How you doing? Good to see you. Happy Friday. Happy Halloween. You're welcome, Nora. Thanks for joining us, as always. Joe says Mars is the nearest bright planet to the moon right now, but Uranus is even closer. That's right. Yeah, Uranus will be off to the left, I think. And I was wondering, why is it drifting so badly now? Because I was like, did I run out of battery? Did the battery on the mount die? Believe it or not, I'm running the mount off a battery, even though I've got power out here, run out in the yard. It's a silly, silly thing I'm doing, but it's what happens. It's what happens, y'all. The moon from side to side is smaller than the United States. That's right. Yeah, it's like 2,900 miles or something like that. I forget exactly what it is. The moon is currently 2948, which is about as small as it gets. Yeah, so that's 29 minutes, 48 seconds of arc on the sky. That's how we measure stuff as astronomers, y'all, the arc minutes and arc seconds. If something's arc seconds, it's very small in the sky. If something's arc minutes, it's big. And if something is degrees, it's even bigger. So you go arc seconds, arc minutes, arc, or it's just degrees. Because no, there's no arc degrees. That doesn't make any sense. Jametta says, hello, I've loved looking up at the sky. I've never quite known exactly what I'm looking at. Hey, I've been there, Jametta, more than you know. Whoops. I know where the moon is, but what else I'm looking at here? Well, we're just looking at the moon and all the little features on the moon. What are the constellations and where is Mars again? This is a lot of questions. This is so cool, by the way. Well, thank you, Jametta. So all the constellations, that's a whole other thing, a whole other topic. And Mars is pretty close to the moon. Not exactly close, but it's to the right of the moon if you're looking out naked eye, Jametta. So like just to the right. I'm going on memory too because I'm like in a little hut. And I can't remember exactly, but I think that's true. I'm missing a lot of comments too, y'all. I apologize. It's skipping around on me. I think this computer is, like I said, on its last leg. Well, known fact, Alice Cramden was the first American to the moon. That's hilarious, but also tragic and very, very, very tragic. According to Google, this year's farthest apogee comes on March 24, 2020 at 252,000 miles or 406,000 kilometers. And the closest perigee occurs some 2 weeks later on April 7th at 221,000 miles or 356,000 kilometers. Yes, that's pretty close to what I said. Sometimes, it's hard to remember all these facts and figures, y'all. But if you, again, the more you expose yourself to this stuff, the more it just all sort of makes sense. I can't even say it because it makes so much sense, but no. You just have to hear this stuff over and over and over again. Yeah. But we do so many outreach events, Tim, where I try my best to be like, okay, little kid, this is the moon, right? You can see it. There it is in the sky. And here it is in the telescope. Now, this thing is 250,000 miles away from you right now. And even in my adult brain, I'm kind of like, okay, that's a big number. And we really don't have a sense of scale for how far away that is. Just look at how big the moon is. It's like 3,000 miles across, close, give or take. And go look at it in the sky right now. I challenge you, go. Go look how small that thing is. It's 3,000 miles across. And it's like, boop, this little thing. It always looks bigger on the horizon, but that's actually an illusion. Don't let it fool you. It's not any bigger. In fact, it's actually smaller on the horizon. It's a little more squished. Nora says, we already got snow here. Man, isn't that crazy how that works? You're welcome, Jametta. Thanks for joining us. And happy Halloween to everybody that's just joining us or coming in late, coming back from maybe going down to the store to pick up some Reese's Pieces or something. I think that's the second time I've mentioned Reese's tonight. So you can tell where my brain is. I can't wait to have Snickers again. That's like one of my favorite candy bars. Can't have it because of the nuts. Got braces on. It's ridiculous. Kai says, I don't know you, but I notice anything that is Prince related. Prince related, huh? What's Prince related though? I'm missing the is it because I'm dropping massive amounts of purple rain? I don't know. Did I play your crew and make pancakes for everybody after I decimated your basketball team? Sorry for all the questions, by the way. I never get to ask anyone who actually might know the answers. Hey, Jametta, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. Do not don't think that there's any dumb questions or that there's too many questions. No, otherwise I'm just going to be sitting here talking about who knows what. So I enjoy the questions for sure. So if there's something burning that's been just, can't find it on Google, maybe I can help you with it. And if not, I'll tell you I don't know. I'm not going to be like, well, if you do the calculations, no. If I don't know, I'm going to tell you, I don't know. We'll find out together maybe. Its distance is roughly 10 times around the Earth. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right, Chris. Yeah, because 24,000 miles is the circumference of the Earth. Awesome what you do. Love it. Oh, well, Nora, thank you so much. Nora's a long-time listener. Long-time listener. Let me clean up this moon image real quick, and then I'll read your question, although everybody can read it there while I fix this. There we go. Sorry, guys. I get to rambling and then I forget to do things. Look at all these ghost craters. Since it's Halloween, we're looking at ghosts. Ghost craters. Look at that. Boom, boom. You see that's just the rim is left of these craters. They look like they're filled up with, just like dark material. They're just like swimming pools of dark material out there. You can see this is a really interesting ghost crater because it's got a couple of new craters inside it. You got one here in the center. You got one here out on the edge on the rim. These are newer craters. Tell because they're brighter, just like these down here. These are all newer craters. But this crater here is a lot bigger, but you can see it's almost flat. It's like a pancake crater. And you're like, what's up with that? Well, this crater was created a long time ago. And then when the volcanic material, all this dark stuff, was flowing in from the core, or out, I should say, from the core, it filled up the bottom of these craters. And it left just the wall, just the very top of the mountain peak that was formed. And you can see that all up here. It's like a graveyard of craters up here. That's what we should call it, the lunar graveyard. Oh, and then somebody asked for the lunar Texas, and it's right here. That's a feature that kind of I discovered. I think you have to do something like that, and then something like that. Yeah, there's the lunar Texas. So this is an image of the moon that is flipped and rotated. I'm so bad at all these windows. I need multiple monitors is what I need. That would make this so much easier. Joe says it's 5 minutes to midnight. It's less than that now because I got to your comments so late, Joe. It's only a few minutes, and it's going to be Halloween, y'all. And we're looking at ghosts. Oh, I see, Kai. I see, Kai. Yeah. I see. Okay. All right. Tim says, your Prince knowledge is amusing to me. Purple Rain and Chappelle Show. That's about the extent of my Prince knowledge, Tim. You got it exactly right. I know about as much as Charlie Murphy told us. That's about as much as I know. Let's go climb Mons Huygens. Let's do that. And I'll point out Lunar Texas a little bit more detail, and then we'll go to Mons Huygens. Riley put ghosts. It is a ghostly kind of night, isn't it, y'all? All right. Going down to the Lunar Texas. I'm going to go look at the lunar Gulf of Mexico. Okay, so this is, how y'all know how Texas is shaped. And y'all can't y'all see Texas right here? Raise your hand if you can't see Texas. And I'm going to send you to the principal's office. But look, you've got Brownsville, Texas down here. Houston, Beaumont, where I'm at, right down here. Texarkana, right up here. Amarillo would be somewhere in the Panhandle. You got Dallas and all that. This is Big Bend. You see the Big Bend? It goes up around here, and then it goes to El Paso, all the way out there. You got all that Central Texas weirdness. All them Austiners, real weird people, right out in here. I love Austin. But yeah, that's the Lunar Texas. I found that a while ago because this little crater right here, this little brighter crater, is Moltke. Moltke. And Moltke is about 4 or 5 kilometers wide, I think, just to give you an idea of what the scale of what we're looking at here. And somewhere out here is where the Apollo 11 astronauts landed. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. Right out here. You take the Lunar Texas, and of course this is the Sea of Tranquility, all this down here, Sea of Tranquility, and they landed right out in there. Moltke is kind of like what you're looking for on the edge, And then, it's pretty hard to miss. It kind of looks like a dark rainbow or something right there. If you look at it sort of backwards, I guess. But they landed right out here, and that was the first manned mission, crewed mission, to the moon. Hey, Veronica, how you doing? Good to see you. Chris says the moon doesn't have a molten core like Earth. The lakes that form from impacts are from liquefied surface material setting. Yeah, well, some of that is kind of true, Chris. The moon doesn't have an active molten core now, but it did. And not only that, at one point the moon itself was essentially a molten ball of horribleness. You wouldn't have want to been anywhere near it back in those early days. And then as it was accreting stuff, it took more stuff in. The heavier elements like iron and stuff, iron, nickel, all that sunk to the center. And as it was still molten, and then some of the lighter material um, came up. Now, there's a lot of these lunar seas on this side of the moon, on the near side, but not so many on the far side. And that's because it's actually full of a different kind of rock, basically. It's thicker rock on the other side, is from what I've been told by people much smarter than me as far as the moon goes. And so that far side was thicker, and also the gravity from Earth probably helped out a lot to pull this material up from the core. And as the moon cooled, it shrunk. Because cool or warm things expand and cool things contract, right? So the moon did contract and got a little bit smaller than it was, and cooled down, and here we are. Have a good one, Nora. And it is 12:02 here in Central Time, so it is Halloween. Why is the moon so bright? Well, because it's shining a whole bunch of sunlight at us that it's bouncing off. That's bouncing off of it. I'm gonna flip this back here to this is the natural view of the moon right here. So if you were to go out and just magnify the moon, this would be what you would see. Okay, Mons Huygens. Sorry, Tony. I'm using Sky Safari here off camera. Mons. Is there a Mons Huygens? I'm going to have to search it in list form. Give me 1 second. Oh, there is. Aha. That's in the Lunar Alps. What a good choice, Tony. You're full of good choices tonight, Tony. You're a made man, Tony. You're a made man. Give me a second here. I'll get it centered after I quit hitting the wrong buttons every 10 seconds here. I'm also going to mess with the settings a bit. There we go. Look at that. That's a better image, huh? I promise I'm going to get a better scope, y'all. This scope is a good scope, but it's not up to Deep Sky Dude's specifications, if you will. So how about a trip to Frau Mora? We could go to Frau Mora after this. Absolutely. No problem. Good to see you. Let's see. Chris says it says that the moon is mostly covered in black material. It's the sun's reflections that gives it a wider appearance. Yeah, well, it's just darker material, Chris. It's like I forget. It's not. It's I think it's like breccia. I think that's how you say it. Volcanic material. That's why it's so dark. The breccia. Riley says, "Better hurry. Don't want to make him upset." Hey, I'm trying not to make you upset. Every time I say your name, I'm like, how is it? Veronica says, how rare is a blue moon? Pretty rare. That's why they call it a blue moon, right? Okay, so Mons Huygens. I'm looking for it on the map. Let me see if I can locate it here. And it looks like it is this thing. hard to define exactly where it is, but yeah, it's this area right here, Tony. So this whole arc right here is the Lunar Alps. You see this whole area? That's an impact basin that is just massive, y'all. That was one of the older craters that hit the moon. You can see this whole area, this whole sea is really an impact basin where something very, 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 very large hit the moon. A long, 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 add another 50 longs in there time ago. Yep, so that's Mons Huygens, is sort of right here in this little area right here. There's actually, I think it's this little white cliff, Tony. You can see that there's this little loop area that kind of goes down and around this way, and I think it's this little peak right here. Now, again, the sunlight is coming from behind us as this perspective goes. So there's no real shadows on the moon right now. There's just this sort of washed out top-down view. If you had, Legos on a table and you were shining the light directly down from, above, there's no shadows on the table in a dark room, right? But if you take that same light and you hold it at the side of the table, pointing down the table sideways, those shadows grow long from those Legos and their random forms. If you had just a table full of Legos stacked and crumbled and just wherever, as the direction of light changes, you see more or less detail in that, and it's a different kind of detail too. So Mons Huygens here is like basically washed out, but you can still see the area where it is. And Tony gives us a little factoid there. Approximately 18,000 feet high, Mons Huygens. That's an awesome little tidbit there, Tony. But that's it. Yeah, it's this peak right here, this 18,000 foot peak right there at the tip of the arrow, right there. I kind of feel like since it's Halloween, we should name this thing. Look at this feature. It looks kind of like this horrible creature. So here's the eye of it. Here's like the nose. Here's like the top of the mouth, and then the bottom jaw, right? And it's even got like a little neck where it's like sticking its neck out, going like, rah, it's gonna eat something. But there's the eye. Top of the head is up here, right? We got the bottom jaw, top jaw. Some kind of little monster. I don't know what it is. It's the moon monster. It's like Nessie, but it's moony. I don't know. It's a monster face. Very cool, Tony. Thank you for that. Let me get to some of these comments real quick. It's Halloween, y'all. And it's officially the last day of October, guys. That means November is like hours away. It's November. It's ridiculous. What happened to the year? Riley says that's really interesting, thinking about just this massive asteroid coming straight for the moon. Can you imagine, though, being on Earth and seeing, one of these kind of impacts happen in real time? It would be almost frightening, because you would know that eventually that stuff that was blown off the moon is coming our direction. And it could be catastrophic for places on Earth. What's up, Mark? How you doing? It looks like Gorgeous Marbles. Been watching your wife's YouTube about self-publishing too. That's awesome, Mark. Nice. Little shout out. Awesome content. Moon looks sick tonight. I agree with you, dude. Moon looks great tonight. Happy Halloween, Mark. Thanks for checking out the wife's material too. She does self-publishing stuff on YouTube. So if you're into self-publishing your books, she has good advice, man. She comes with the clout to back up the claims, right? She has the proof in the pudding. Why is the impact crater called a sea? So Travis, they're basins. They're impact basins. They're not craters per se. I guess you could just say that they're a massive crater, but actually when a crater becomes so big, it's kind of like when a lake becomes, or a pond becomes a lake, right? When an impact crater is so massive, it becomes a basin. Now, why that is, I don't know. I'm not. All this stuff happened before you or I were born, and it was named. But the basins are, these seas. You can see them. They're all fairly circular. Some of them are kind of uncircular though, because of the pushing and pulling that went on the early moon, with sort of like the molten aspect of it. But you can see that most of the basins are round. Most of the seas, the lunar seas, the Maria, are roundish. Sometimes they're round with lunar highlands kind of just sprinkled in amongst. And you can tell the highlands from the lowlands, right? All the lowlands are the dark stuff. All the highlands are the whitish, bright gray, white stuff that you see. A great question, Travis. If you were the first to find a planet or large meteor, what would you name it? Well, okay, so the naming convention is kind of weird on that stuff, Chris. Like, depends on what you discover, if you even get to choose what it's named at all. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. Mark's answer to that question is Planet McPlantyface, and that, I think, is just the best name. What we should do is discover an asteroid somehow and call it Asteroid McAsteroidface. That would be a funny thing to call it. Although that would be the only one that I ever got to discover, and then I'd waste the opportunity to, to name it on something silly like that. What's up, Jonah? How you doing? Looks like a Fraggle to me. Yeah, I can kind of see that from Fraggle Rock. Yeah. Travis says, a horrible creature. We can call it Starlink. Yeah, that's the name of that little creature. Linky instead of Nessie. The Rye Monster. Oh no. Oh no. Things just got really bad for Tony. Oh no. Tony has shot himself in the foot real bad. I like that though. That is kind of cool. We can call that little guy Starlink. You know why we should call it that though, Travis, is because if we call it Starlink, everybody will be like, hey, have you seen Starlink on the moon? And then they'll, show you this thing. James says, am I dating myself, with a Fraggle Rock reference? Look, James, whether you like to date other people or whether you like to date yourself, hey, it's all good, man. We're not here to judge who you choose to go on dates with. That's your thing and your prerogative. Joking aside, yes, you are. But I also dated myself by knowing the reference of Fraggle Rock, so ha. Joe says, how about Luna the Moon Dragon? Oh, now that's a cool name, Joe. Yeah, it does kind of remind me of a little bit of because it's got that Chinese dragon kind of feel, right? What do they call when they do the dances with the Chinese dragons, and they have the people in the costumes, and they have the dance to the beat. It's awesome stuff. It's like every kung fu movie I've watched in the past month and a half. Love kung fu movies. Can't get enough. And I'm weird. Jametta says, yes, she's absolutely amazing. I, too, am a loyal subscriber of hers. That's how I found you. Well, there you go, Jametta. Jametta knows the wife. That's awesome. Couple goals. Mark says. That's funny. What if we didn't have a moon? Ooh, what a good question, Veronica. Because, man, That we could talk for like an hour on like what would happen if the moon wasn't there, or if you took the moon away, or if the moon had never been there. You know, like there's so many scenarios. It kind of it gets weird. Like we wouldn't have tides really. We'd have solar tides, but we wouldn't have tides in the way we have tides now. Water would be pretty consistent on the Earth. There would be solar tides, so you would notice probably what, a few inches instead of a few feet. There'd be less lunar light. You know, maybe the ancestors of ours that survived because of moonlight wouldn't have survived. You know, who knows? Sorry, guys, my questions are lagging again. So, Jametta says, "Oh, I loved Fraggle Rock. It was a weird show, wasn't it? But it was entertaining. I remember it being entertaining, but it was a little weird. Let's go somewhere else. I think there was a request for a place, and we'll go there. I'll just put it right here because this is where I started my lunar journey tonight, a few hours ago. And man, look at the craters on the edge there on the limb. It's just amazing, the detail that you can see there. Ooh, Veronica says, "What's your favorite thing about the moon?" To be honest, Veronica, my favorite thing about the moon is how one side of it faces us. So you can, if you can memorize like a several hundred features, you'll never be lost on the moon because one side of it always faces us. That's one thing I really love about the moon. Another thing I love about the moon is that it goes away for about 10 days. I know that sounds weird, but as a deep sky astronomer, when the moon is not there, the sky is dark. And I love that. And that is a thing that happens about the moon, right? It goes away. So during new moon, right? When it's new moon, the moon is over by the sun. It doesn't come up at night. It's only up during the day, quote unquote, right? So yeah, I love new moon because that means I can take out my big scopes and go hunt for the real ghosts in the sky, like galaxies and nebula far, far away. Bob says it would be named after Will's favorite drink, Yoo-hoo. See, this is what happens. Rumors get started, and then people start sending me Yoo-hoo, and then there's extra Yoo-hoo because I don't drink that nonsense. Chocolate water. Bob Snyder, or his favorite person, Elon Musk. Look, I've never met Elon, so I can't have an opinion on the guy. I just have to judge him by his tweets because that's all I have. But man, stop tweeting, Elon Musk. Is there a lunar eclipse on November 30th? I didn't know, Veronica. I'll have to check into that. It looks like a baby bird that fell from the nest. Oh, I can see that, Chris. Yeah. Or a hungry little baby bird that's like, feed me. Let me move this back over here a little bit. And there we go. If there was no moon, we wouldn't be here pondering the question. That's a great point, Chris. I happen to agree with you. I think if the moon wasn't here, we would not be here as well. I think you're exactly right. That's a good question, Tony. I know he's out there somewhere. I know he's freshly bald today. Ron Sparkman got his head shaved by an astronaut. So, you know, at least Tony and I can claim that we have a friend who got his head shaved by an astronaut. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. The fact that we can even put that sentence together and it be true is hilarious. It's the world we live in today. Ron's the man. He's moving and shaking. That's what he's doing. He's probably asleep because he got his head shaved today, and that was probably a very tiring experience. I know I would have been very tired afterwards. Travis says, there is a series like that I've been watching. No moon, no air for 30 seconds. What if the world stopped rotating? Crazy stuff. Oh, yeah, yeah. Be interesting, wouldn't it? That crater at the very top of the edge of the curve looks very interesting. Yeah, I think that's Pythagoras, the one you're looking at. This one right here. Probably the one you're thinking of, Mark. Yeah, that is Pythagoras, which is About 80 miles wide, I think is what we read earlier. Jimetta has a question, and it goes like, so not necessarily a moon-related thing, but kind of, what's the deal behind Alaska and the thing where the moon is out for them for several months at a time or something like that? I'm not explaining it right, but how does the moon just not go away in a place for that length of time? So, Jimetta, the moon for Alaska is going to be just like it is for us. However, sometimes the moon is lower in its orbit than it is at other times. So there might be times where Alaska, it's below the horizon for them. But I'm not really sure about that. I'd have to, excuse me, I'd have to look into that and see about that. But I think what you're thinking of is the sun, where it's dark for a few months during the winter time, and then during the summertime, because Alaska's so far north that that they have day, but it's very short, and then it in the fall and winter they basically don't get any sunlight at all. It just gets dusk. At 1 a.m. it looks like just before dark here, but they would definitely still see the moon unless it was below the horizon for them, which can happen. The moon doesn't just orbit the Earth in a perfect circle. It goes up and down like a carousel. So some months it's higher in its orbit, quote unquote, and some months it's lower in its orbit, quote unquote. So yeah, there could be a time when it was under the horizon for them, but it wouldn't just go away for weeks or months. It would be back within a few weeks on a different part of the lunar cycle for them. Yeah, unless the sun doesn't come up during that time. So yeah, there could be periods where, because of the way it works up there, how far north they are, that they don't get that kind of stuff sometimes. You wouldn't catch me living up there at all. No, no, no. Oh, a penumbral lunar eclipse. You might as well just not even observe a penumbral lunar eclipse. They're the biggest letdowns besides the disappointed meteor shower. That's the second biggest disappointing thing about astronomy is the meteor showers they tell you about. They're like, oh, it's going to be a meteor shower. You go outside and you see one. Maybe. Travis says, how about an astronaut locking you in a training track? Well, Travis, the stories you guys could tell. For those of y'all that don't know, Travis Hunter here is responsible for the Starlink satellites. It was his idea. He implemented it and also somehow funded it. So blame Travis. Hashtag blame Travis. Why can't we see more stars in Alaska than Houston? I don't think that's true. But if it is true, it's because Alaska is darker than Houston. However, if you removed all the light pollution, Veronica, from Houston, you would see more stars because you would have some of the southern sky too that Alaska could never see. There's parts of the sky Alaska will never see. There's parts of the sky we here in central sort of latitudes won't ever see. Yes, she means the sun. Those people never even see the moon. I think Alaska sees the moon at some points. Yeah, the moon comes up, I think, at some point. But it's just, it's different for them because they're so far north. Yeah, I hope I explained that okay for you, Jametta. It is a weird thing, but it's not exactly easy to understand. None of this astronomy stuff is really intuitive to humans because it doesn't really, our existence isn't really built. We're not really built to understand this stuff, So all we can really do is thank Travis for Starlink, because it is ultimately his fault. All of it. Especially the car thing. Mark says the place in Alaska is called Barrow and is one of Alaska's northernmost cities. Oh, okay, yeah. and usually gets complete darkness for 2 months out of the year. I think it's during the summer, and the sun doesn't completely set from May until the end of July. Yeah, I think it's that they get the summer is lit because of the way the Earth is tilted, Mark. So I guess in the wintertime, it's when it's real dark. Riley says to humans, like you're not one. I forget what I said. Sorry. I am not a human, though. If y'all haven't figured that out by watching my Facebook posts. Oh, sorry. I was channeling Tony there for a second. Travis says, I thought I read that if you got rid of all the light pollution, you could see the Milky Way without a telescope. Absolutely, Travis. Travis, what you need to do, my brother, is figure out a way to come to the Okie-Tex Star Party or the Texas Star Party next year in 2021. Figure out a way to do one of those two, or even come to the El Dorado Star Party. Just come on out. They're all in Texas or Oklahoma area. I know it's a drive for you, but it'll change your life. I promise you. I promise you that. And I'll show you the Milky Way without a telescope, brother. Like that's easy. That's every night for us. That's nothing normal. That we get tired of it. We're like, oh look, it's the entire Milky Way. Nah. Let's put a telescope on something. Like we're snobs like that. But we got to show you that. We got to get you to see that before you get too much older. We're all getting old, but it beats the alternative. Tony says, more random facts about the moon. The average temperature on the moon at the equator and mid-latitudes varies from negative 298 degrees Fahrenheit at night or in shadow to 224 degrees Fahrenheit during the day or in sunlight. Exactly. So everywhere you see, well, right now mostly is the other side of the moon is not being illuminated. It's negative almost 300 degrees Fahrenheit over there. It's crazy. And then when the sunlight starts hitting you, you immediately go up to over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. You cook a pizza in a couple hours or something. Mark says, places in Antarctica sometimes get 24-hour daylight, too. I was watching a documentary one time. Yeah, so they probably, Antarctica, being on the southern hemisphere, I guess it would be wintertime when they would get their daylight stuff because of the tilt of the Earth. It's tilted toward the sun. Veronica says, thanks, Travis, for Starlink. You are the best. We'll go with it. Chris says, I lived in New York. I saw so many stars. Justin Timberlake, Gwen Stefani, Lady Gaga, etc. There's a ton of stars in New York, even with the light pollution. Right, exactly, Chris. You just got to know where to look, right? Catch them on the subway. Catch the stars on the subway. Catch a star drunk behind a food truck or something. You never know. New York's a crazy place. Joe says, during polar winter, for either north or south, the moon is the only light they get. Yeah. In 1916, Ross C. Party in Antarctica used the full moon to travel by when suddenly it got eclipsed. Ooh, now that's creepy right there. That's a Halloween story for you guys. Elon doesn't let me leave. We need to do 40 launches next year. Hey, Travis, look, all I ask is that you tell me where to go for the good spots for these launches, because I am going to buy that lens that I keep renting. I'm going to buy it soon, and I have the need for recording those launches, so let's work together. I get crazy views online with those, and I need some new ones because I can't keep showing the same stuff over and over again. I've been getting away with it. So I get away with it because I put it all on TikTok first, and then it gets insane views over there, and then I put it on Instagram Reels because I'm like, oh, look, it's your new platform. It's a re-upload. Getting that mileage out of that footage, y'all. That's the way you got to do it. Milky Way is bright from a dark side. Yeah, exactly. The Milky Way is so bright from a dark side that it will cast shadows. If you wear a white shirt and the Milky Way is up and there's no moon, there's nothing else, there's no light pollution, just the Milky Way, the starlight from the Milky Way, you can see the shadow of your hand on your shirt at the Texas Star Party. I'm telling you. Telling you right now, I've done it. I was walking back to my camper without a flashlight. The starlight was so bright from the Milky Way out at the Texas Star Party. Oh, good. I'm in Texas too, Veronica. Nice to have you. Bob says, first time I saw it, I thought they were clouds. Exactly, dude. People are like, is that dawn coming over in the east? No, it's the Milky Way. Mark says, if the moon impacts Earth's tides, does that mean it affects the geysers in Antarctica? Oh, sorry. Is it the geysers in Antarctica because it's technically just frozen ocean? I would assume so, Mark. Yeah, absolutely. I would say that it definitely affects all that stuff. Chris Papa says, you need a sponsor. You can buy new gear. Hey, I'm always up for sponsors, Chris. But I've been also enjoyed doing a lot of this stuff on my own as well. You know, not having to do commercials for people. But look, if I can get better equipment and newer equipment, and it betters the platform, which my platform is, I want to get outreach done. I want to get these views of the cosmos out to people. If that's what that means, if that's what I have to do, then that's what I have to do. I can't afford some of this stuff on my own. Some of it I can, but some of it is very, very expensive. I mean, this is a meager setup what I'm using here, and it's not up to Deep Sky Dude specifications, but we're having fun, right? So it's all good. But I'm working on some things, so I appreciate that, Chris. Though Mark says, "Have you seen the Milky Way and Andromeda Deep Sky observing, Will?" Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. The Milky Way you can see naked eye. In fact, if you have a telescope, that's the worst way to see the Milky Way. You want to do it naked eye, but the Andromeda Galaxy is kind of the same way. In a telescope, you're like, wow, that's a really bright, fuzzy thing. But yeah, it's just something that's better seen naked eye, I think, sometimes. Travis says, we will make something happen for sure. I owe it to you for having everyone give me so much love for Starlink. Oh, man. I can't wait to take a picture with you, Travis, and be like, this is the man right here who is responsible for all the nonsense in the amateur astronomy community forums online. I think even if all Starlink does is annoy a bunch of amateur astronomers online, it was worth watching because it's hilarious. Yeah, I'm going to try to do the next launch in Texas for sure. We'll see about Boca Chica, one of these launches for sure. Have you thought about approving Yoo-Hoo as a sponsor? No, Chris. Approaching. Sorry. No, they actually came to me because of Tony. Tony said, hey, Yoo-Hoo, sponsor this guy. And they were like, can we sponsor you? And I was like, no, your product is horrible. Horrible. Riley, thanks for joining us. And look, kudos to you for putting up with Tony all these weird nights like tonight. I mean, keep doing what you're doing, and we appreciate you hanging out with us, of course. We always like to have fun here, but have a good night. Happy Halloween. Get some candy. Mail it to me or something. Just don't do it if it's chocolate, because it will melt. Laugh emojis. We're winding it down here anyways, guys. I mean, I've been yammering on for way too long. What I want to start doing with these is inviting my friends on. I know Ron would have joined us tonight if he could. Like I said, he had a long day today. But I want to start getting some people in as guests on these now, because now that I'm doing it this way and not on the back of an iPhone, I can do some of that, right? I can sort of change up the way that I've been doing some of this stuff, and which is cool. It kind of it gives it a different vibe. It gives it a different effect. With more people here, I can shut up for like 10 minutes, and it's okay. If I shut up for 10 minutes right now, we'll watch the viewership go from in the 30s to like 5. I think most of y'all weirdly hang around because I won't shut up. It's weird. I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but I appreciate it. I need enough Starlink density to reach down to 30 degrees. Man, you know, maybe we can keep him down there, Bob. Dr. Pepple Snapper Group signed this man to a contract. You know what though? Hey, if you who said we'll give you $2 million a year to say you like our product, guess who is Happy Gilmore Subway kind of guy? That's me. That's this guy. $2 million a year. I can buy an airplane with that, and I can fly around and hang out with all you weirdos on the weekends. So maybe contact me, YooHoo. Contact me. I'd rather a coffee company or something. That'd be cool. Gassendi crater right here in the middle. A tiny little crater down there is Gassendi. I'll point it out in a second after I read Adam's comment here. Apollo 13 was originally slated to land in the area of Frau Moro. Yeah, I forgot to go look at that area for you there, Adam. Because of the incident with that mission, Apollo 14 was rescheduled to land in the area instead of Mare Serenitatis. Yeah, Frau Moro is a cool little area. We can actually go up there in a second. I said that a long time ago, and then I forgot. It's hard to answer all these questions and get to these comments, but also do the moon thing too, because you know how it is with this equipment, man. It's plotting against you. I know it always is. Jametta says this is about to be my new favorite live streams. This was so cool. Well, thank you so much, Jametta. That means a lot because in a world of nonstop, constant live streams, for you to say that means a lot because that means that you learned something and had a good time. And that's what this is all about. And I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Jametta. Glad you came. The commentary is what keeps us here. Yeah, keeps. Yeah, I knew what you meant, Chris, and I appreciate that. Tony says, "What if Trump gives you $2 million per year to endorse him?" We're going to the next question, which was no problem, man. That wasn't a question, but we just went right on to the next thing. We didn't even. I don't even think. Tony who? Tony who? Okay, let me go on to something else here. I need to find Frau more. Oh man, I'm gonna get a strongly worded private message in an hour, Tony. I gotta look up Frau more. I can't even spell. Okay, here we go. Because Frau Mora is spelled weird and it shouldn't be spelled the way it is, but Adam helped us out with the spelling here. So I just look at where I see it on the moon. Okay, we're right below Copernicus. The Copernicus crater is right here. And Frau okay. Give me 1 second, y'all. Oh, okay. Okay, all right. Frau Mora. Now I lost it. I gotta look back on the. Okay, it's right here. Y'all see this? It's almost indistinguishable from the background, but it's this circular area. Can y'all see that? There's almost two circular areas. Lots of ghost craters in this particular area. That's Frau Moro. Stupid. I apologize. I get the giggles when it gets past midnight. It is definitely Halloween. Oh, here we go. A caffeine infused YooHoo. Oh man, like Red Bull and caffeine. Oh, can you imagine? This is a horrible drink. Lots of laugh emojis because yeah, we're having some fun here. Money is not everything, Tony. Hey, but look, if the right thing is asking you to endorse it, well, But again, I'm the kind of guy that's only going to endorse a product or a drink. If they are paying my salary for some time or something, like an NFL star, or B, I actually like the product. Like if certain astronomy companies came to me and said, hey, will you represent our camera or our mount or our telescope? These certain companies, I wouldn't. Some of them I wouldn't. Some of them I would be like, I'd be absolutely honored to represent your product. But some of them I would say, I can't because I've had problems, or I've seen other people have problems, and I don't want to endorse products like that. You know what I mean? I never want to be, I never want to have somebody say, oh, well, you endorsed this telescope and I got one and it's horrible. You know, so I only really endorse stuff that I've owned or had immediate access to, or it's just seen like an overwhelming number of the populace of the amateur astronomy talk highly of it, you know. So I think we need to look at the lunar dragon after that mess. Yeah, well, that's how it goes. Travis says the moon is tidal locked. That I understand, but the moon doesn't shift even a little bit in a year. No, not in. So, Travis, the moon is moving away from us, but it's not. The moon's doing a lot of weird stuff in its orbit around us. Like I said, it's orbiting us like a carousel, but it's also orbiting us in and out, like because its orbit is not circular; it's oblong, or it's got a flatter side or whatever. So you've got this a lot of weird stuff happening. The moon is also wobbling, and we call that wobble libration. Have a good one, Chris. Take it easy, brother. Happy Halloween. Have some good tricks or treats out there. But yeah, so the moon is librating too, which libration is a little bit harder to explain, but just think of a top, a spinning top that is starting to lose its momentum. It's wobbling. So it's got this precession, if you will, where the top of the top the top of the top is making a circle itself as it's spinning. And that's kind of like libration, even though it's kind of not. I should get this back on Fromora because that's where we're at. Sorry, guys. Again, the mount is drifting here a little bit. It shouldn't be. If I had properly aligned it, it wouldn't be. But hey. As the guys at NASA learned after Apollo 12 that one could be more precise at selecting landing areas despite the limitations of equatorial landings. Yeah, where you land on the moon is absolutely important. It depends on how you have approached the moon from before. It depends on the moon's current position, phase, all that. You wouldn't want to land on the moon during new moon, right? At least you wouldn't want to land on our side of the moon during new moon because it's going to be dark everywhere. You know, that might not be a good idea. You want to land on the moon during daylight, you know, during when it's bright outside, because then you don't have to use lights or whatever. No telling what kind of monsters come out of the dark on you on the moon. There went a monster right there. Did y'all see that? That was clearly a UFO on Halloween morning. Even Fromora was deemed more geologically interesting. I can see why. It's in the highlands. You can see the lowlands around it. Sort of these areas right here, the lowlands around Fromora. And then, of course, you can see Fromora right here, sort of this area that's just sort of right above this double crater, this sort of figure of 8. It's right here, and then you can see Fromora is just right there. But yeah, these are highlands. So this is a mountain range, not a big mountain range, but a mountain range that happens to be laying right there. And look, what's awesome is we're not far from one of my favorite craters, which is Gassendi. We're right here. You got this little crater at the top of it. Kind of looks like a oddly proportioned BB-8 droid from Star Wars, right? The ball droid with the little thing on top. But that's Gassendi crater. And then Fromora is not far from there. So maybe I'll remember that. But probably I'll forget it. I'm willing to bet. Let's see if I can clean this image up a little bit. As we're kind of winding it down here, but figure we can do a little bit more viewing since it's Halloween. Yeah, that's Fromora right there. Good choice. Good choice. Yeah, the word I was looking for is elliptical. Yeah. Well, I don't know what happened there. Oh, there it goes. I clicked on it, but it didn't show. Yeah, elliptical orbit. So yeah, the moon is coming at us. It's coming away from us. It's going. So it's a crazy thing. But overall, the moon is moving away at about an inch a year or so. something like that. If you were here, Travis, in person, I could use my hands to like show you, stuff like how it's moving, but it's really hard to do that online. I know it's a weird thing we're doing here. Travis says, heading to bed. Thanks again for the knowledge. Hey, man, no problem. Anytime. Thank you for stopping by. Have a happy Halloween, dude, and a happy Saturday. That's so cool. We get a Halloween on Saturday this year. That doesn't often happen, does it? I bet some of y'all could tell me the statistics of that, but pretty cool. That's a very true point, Adam. Very, very true. It's very interesting stuff when you get in there, get the nitty gritty of the lunar landings and stuff. Yeah, come on out, Travis. We're waiting to show you the skies, man. That's for sure. 2 hours, 5 minutes is how long we've been broadcasting, guys. It's been a long one, but hey, it's about right for my live streams. It seems like these days. That's when I start getting tired of talking, and it's when y'all start getting tired of hearing me because y'all start going to bed, and that's that's how it goes. I've had way too much coffee, so there's no way I'm going to bed for the next hour and a half or more. But that's where we'll leave it for tonight. I promise that I'm gonna keep updating this setup so that I can keep bringing y'all like views of the moon, and we can do it a little bit more. We can do it a little bit more better. That's a dumb way to say that, but we can do it a little bit more detailed. Get more detail. We can get more contrast out of different telescopes. This really isn't the best scope for the job, but it sure worked, didn't it? So I can't really complain. It could use a little bit of tweaking. It could use some collimation, but it's not so bad. I ruined this scope months ago, and then I fixed it somehow. But it is what it is. And it says, get some rest there, Will, and happy Halloween. You too, sir. Happy Halloween. Good to see you hanging out with us here. Bob says, perfect timing. I only have 3 more images in my sequence. Well, there you go, Bob. A virtual star party in every respect of the term, which is awesome. We should have got you in on this, Bob. Just got you in on the live stream here, and so then other people can hang out and chat with me. That's my goal for next time, which might even be tomorrow night. It depends on weather and it depends on schedule for tomorrow night. But I may be doing another live stream like this. So if some of y'all would like to, come on and hang out, as long as you're not going to talk about UFOs and weird stuff, we can talk about that a little bit since it's Halloween. But we'll talk about how fake it all is. But no, probably going to do another one tomorrow night. We'll see, again, weather, schedule, all that fun stuff. But yeah, thank y'all for hanging out, man. Thank y'all for sharing your Halloween morning with me. It's good times. You can follow me at Deep Sky Dude, whether you're on any of the platforms. A lot of y'all are already probably following me on Deep Sky Dude. So if you are, I appreciate y'all. You go to deepskydude.com, and that's all the links to all the stuff. You can find it all there. For those of y'all that are watching on at Stardom Space, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for hanging out with us, checking out the moon on a Halloween night. It's fun, man. It's cool. It's cool to view the moon on a full moon on Halloween. It's like it's like a werewolf movie or something. But nobody turned into a werewolf, unfortunately. We were hoping maybe Travis or, maybe Ron, that's why Ron shaved his head, because he knew he was going to turn into a werewolf on Halloween. Ooh, conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory. For those 20 of y'all that are still watching, y'all are privy to that information. Keep it under your hat, though. But I do want to thank Ron for letting me broadcast on Stardom. Appreciate you, brother. And all of y'all who came and hung out and watched the session and commented and played along. Thank y'all. Thank you for sharing the feed. We appreciate that. We do these from time to time when we can, and when the weather is clear and the skies are good and the moon is out. And the cool thing about this camera and some of the equipment that I'm about to get is I'm about to start being able to do different kinds of live streams. So we're going to be doing a lot of experimentation and having a lot of fun. I think y'all will enjoy it. Appreciate y'all hanging out again. Have a happy Halloween. Be safe out there. Take care of each other, because we're all we have at the end of the day. On this lowly planet, all we have is each other. And let's act like it, right? Let's have a little more empathy towards each other and a little more acceptance, maybe. And I think we'll all get along okay. I think everything will be all right. As a species, we'll be all right. Wash your hands, y'all. Wear your mask. Let's protect each other. Let's get through this, because we're almost there. And I appreciate y'all. Y'all are an awesome audience. Have a good one. We'll see y'all maybe tomorrow night. Well, after the sunlit cycle of Saturday, anyway. It's already tomorrow, quote unquote, right? So y'all have a great evening. Have a happy Halloween. Tell someone you know that you love them and that you need them. Appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I need y'all. Y'all are awesome. Have a great night, guys. Wash your hands.